self-sovereign, virtual territories. Privacy preserving, politically neutral. Borderless, public institution, voluntary consent, resilient parallel societies, maximize the cost of surveillance, minimize the cost of exit. Trust, minimize corruption, resistant, undeserved citizens. Decentralized, decentralized.
But if it's out for deception and still playing cool like a piece of the puzzle, we're so quick to salute it now. Much too more to look for. Too far to look for. We didn't see it, we never needed it. If that's enough, it's the way we look, and no one's asking why. It's about right time, but we don't have time. Give me that time and not what your heart will say. Yeah, we're really living through it, too scared to do it. Come on, I said we don't see it, but we never mean it. It's not enough, that's the way it works, and no one's asking why. It's the right time, and we never have the time. Give me that time and not what your heart will say. Yeah, we're really living through it, too scared to do it. We're so sick of surviving, so sick of surviving, yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Logos Dev Club. I am Chair. I'm here to prop you up. As you can see, Parallel Society approaches Lisbon, Portugal, March 6th and 7th. Get your tickets immediately at ps.logos.co. Just below me on your screen, you can see SP. SP, hello. Thank you for joining me today. SP is a Logos Core contributor, researcher,
Hello.
thinker, handsome gentleman joining me today for either the third or fourth time on one of these streams. You may have seen some past vibe coding sessions that we have had, and you will see some in the future. ps.logos.co is where you can get your tickets to Parallel Society. A few things I want to get to today, folks. Today is Logos Dev Club, Rust Club number 1. As we move what previously were more internal facing language club sessions, we now bring you the very first edition of the Rust flavored one. So hence, Rust Club number 1, we will be going over things from a higher level and get your fill in this week, as next week we will be diving into how Rust applies directly to the Logos stack. So sharpen up your skills this week. Next week, it gets serious. Logos Dev Club comes to you every Monday. Of course, we have the X streams every Tuesday and Thursday, hosted by Sterling. This Wednesday will be the weekly update show. And this Friday is the IFT Town Hall. This is your programming schedule of, or for, this week. We'll get into a higher level summary of what Rust is as a language, as a thing, as a noun. Before SP will take us into a more specific application of said language. It will be a shorter show today because, as I just mentioned sentences ago, next week's show will be action-packed. We will go into a deeper examination of the Logos stack, what they've been cooking up on the blockchain side of things. And Kevin, aka Shutterblock.eth, developer of Spritz.chat, which features Logos messaging, we'll be back for a vibe coding session of said spritz.chat app that is all next week. Please go ahead now and like and subscribe this video and our channel on YouTube. It is at Logos Network. Turn notifications on. We will be coming at you frequently with all sorts of content. And last note of business, the chats do work. Whichever platform you might be watching this stream on now, they are live and I can see them. So go ahead and use them. If you have any questions at any time about virtually anything. The keycard shell is available for you to procure right now. Keycard.tech. Keycard.tech is where you go to secure the only 100% air-gapped, 100% open source hardware wallet that exists. Period. Examine the code yourself. 3D print the case yourself if you'd like. Run it all. Recreate it. Verify these claims. Hello, other hardware wallet teams watching. We know you love Shell too. Keycard.tech, get your key cards and your Shell unit. You can interact in all of the ways that you're already used to interacting with Bitcoin and EVMs. Air-gapped. Imagine an air-gapped existence. That is keycard.tech. I'd like to direct your attention to hub.status.network. There we go. Hub.status.network, where deposits, pre-deposits for SNT, ETH, and Linea are live right now. I believe there was a significant threshold. There it is. 3.73 million pre-deposited on hub.status.network. And last but not least, I do implore you, nay, I insist, that you go to status.app, download and use Status with the rest of us. The native browser was recently re-released. Quite excited about it. Add me on Status. Download Status. Reach out to me. I'll talk with you. Status.app is where you should go. All right. I have bloviated adequately for the time being about all of the different things happening in the Logos ecosystem. But it's not the last time. SP, bear with me as I take you and the rest of the audience through what you probably are already quite familiar with. That is the high-level overview of Rust, the language. What is it? What's the big idea behind it? What is borrowing? Why should I care? And how to get started using Rust today, right now, even as we speak. Now, again, the reason that we are covering Rust is because it is featured in the Logo stack. And if you'd like to find out how, join us next week for Logos Dev Club. And you will be enlightened. Rust is a programming language that's fast like C, safe like Python, and catches your mistakes before the code even runs. Imagine. But how does it do that? There is an idea in Rust called ownership. And now, Don't worry, SP will expand on all of these higher level topics that I'm covering now. Every programming language must answer one question: who is responsible for cleaning up data when we're done with it? Rust has a concept called ownership, and you can draw a metaphor between that concept, ownership, and library books. Every book has exactly one borrower. When you leave the library, your books are automatically returned. You cannot leave with the book. You can lend your book to a friend, but then you can't read it until they give it back. So, rule number 1, there's only one owner at a time. Rule number 2, automatic cleanup. If you walk out of the library, the book goes back to the library. Number 3, lending. If you hand your book to someone else, it's theirs. You can't keep reading it. In Rust, if you give data to a function, you don't have it anymore unless they give it back. Not unlike a loan shark. To draw another metaphor, we'll touch on borrowing maybe a little bit later. Rust. Why should you care? First, Rust is growing. It has an ever-growing presence and an ever-growing community. Linux is using Rust. Rust developers are in high demand. But most importantly, Logos is building sovereignty infrastructure. Infrastructure that ideally operates in a way where you do not have to trust anyone. Not ideally, actually. Ideals were for 10 years ago. So, software that protects your privacy and runs without trusting anyone. Rust brings nice features to the table if you care about those tenets. Now, is Rust hard to learn? You be the judge. I'll be the judge. We'll go through the journey together. Rust is rather easy to set up, from what I have found, and I am on basically a day 2 or 3 level of my path and journey through Rust. I do encourage you to follow along. Of course, if you're interested, because as we might be scraping the highest levels now, we will be going much deeper and with greater frequency very soon. SP, I'll ask you now.
Yes.
How did you come about Rust, and how do you find Rust as a developer who uses it?
Yeah. So I was a C# developer for a time. I was looking to learn a new language, but I was kind of put off by C++ because it seems like a very popular thing and very complicated and yeah. I was also put off by C because it was very ancient and also very complicated and so I decided to just learn something a bit newer. Maybe I guess I, to be honest, it was probably just by accident that I chose to learn Rust. But here we are.
A fortuitous
Yeah.
set of events. So so you are a proponent and a supporter, and your opinion is positive of the language. Can we
Yes,
say that it
very.
strongly positive? Okay.
Yes, yes,
Well,
yes, yes.
if you disagree with the positive outlook of Rust, we are interested in hearing about your perspective, especially if you strongly disagree. Sound off. Is there anything that you could show us, SP, using the Rust language? Perhaps something that is relevant to the Logos core stack.
Yes. Maybe before showing it, maybe a little bit of a preface. So when you develop application in Rust, there's also a question of how you architect your application, depending on how complicated it is. Simple things you don't really need to think about that. But as you add feature to your application or as it complexifies, yeah, it starts to be a big question of how you organize all that code. Um, and there's many different school of thoughts on the topic, and maybe many different ways to do that. One that I like is the, I guess, Go like approach of message passing. So instead of sharing state, basically having to different logic, having to share a state and kind of fight for control of that state. Um, Rust does that, makes it easier to do that because of the borrow checker and the ownership system, but it's much easier to just have separate logic that exchange messages and build an app from those building blocks. Um, you can also call that like an actor model. Um, so I guess one actor would be responsible for some part of the logic of the application. It would have its own state, and it would exchange messages to other actors, and then together, all the actors are the application basically. So you don't share state, you don't have to synchronize state. You just exchange messages. Yeah. So that's a way to architecture your code
A bunch of
organization.
actors,
Yeah.
gossiping with each
Yeah,
other with
basically.
messages. I couldn't imagine such a thing.
Yeah. One thing that's very useful when you go that route of having like separate actors or components, there's many names. Doesn't matter too much. The concept is the same. Is that whether your actor run locally or somewhere else, or if you're single threaded or multi threaded, it doesn't require you to think too much about that. It all gonna kind of works, which is pretty cool. So, for example, if you have a part of your code that's an actor, it gets too big, too resource intensive, you could say, well, all the messages that are going in and out of that actor, they could be messages that are exchanged through not just a Rust channel, but they could be exchanged to a actual physical cable and the logic run in another computer somewhere, right? And by building your application with this kind of model, it makes that a lot easier to do that. You don't have to change the entire code base to do that. Um, yeah. So, which
Excuse me.
brings me to
Mhm.
a library that has been developed for Logos blockchain. It's called Overwatch, and it basically helps you design they call it services. So you can think of a service as one block of logic that is going to exchange messages to other block or other components, if you want to call that, or in this case, it's service. So a service exchange other messages with other services. Um, yeah. So like Cher said, we're the people who built this library are going to do a presentation on it. So I'm just going to skim through on surface level how it works. So this is the example in the repo. You have a main function right here. Basically, you have a bunch of settings. You just have a settings. You have your Overwatch runner, which is in charge of the application. And then the application in this case is just ping pong. So we're gonna send a message, do something, and then send the message back. Pretty simple stuff. And then we have it's kind of a runtime handle, and then we just start all services. Yeah, so pretty simple stuff. We can now take a look at one of the service, which is the ping service. We have traits we're going to implement for this service. We have the service data. So if you have state, you implement service data. In this case, the state is it's ping state. So we're going to
Can
see
I ask
what.
a question real quick?
Yes, go.
It's because it's catching my eye now. I'm just going to think about it unless I ask. In the pub struct ping service struct. Oh, it was just above that. Yeah, just above
Ping
that.
service, yes.
So service resources handle is declared with a colon, and just to, wait,
Yeah.
what are we looking at? Is that a variable? Is that a function? With what are we looking at? With like service resources handle is declared, and then initial state is also initialized the same way. What is the distinction of the colon?
So basically, that's the internal. So that's the Overwatch part of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
The ping service itself is going to be implemented like here. Well, in this case, the entire logic of the ping service is like basically this, and it's not like outside of just this run function. So there's not much logic, but it shows. It's just an example, right? So it shows the.
I'm asking an even more simple question than that, but I'm going to save all my noob questions now for the end because
I mean, for you that
they're disruptive.
It's maybe a bit too advanced for if you've been if you're on day 3 of your Rust journey, maybe that's a bit advanced.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the gist of it is that you implement service data for your service. In this case, it's ping service. You also implement service core for ping service, and it's gonna magically gives you all the things you need for exchanging messages and managing the state of your service, basically. Yeah. Do you do you have other questions?
I do, but I don't want to. They're all super noob questions. It's interesting for me coming from the language that I've had the most experience with and used the most and written the most code in is Rust, is Ruby. So like it or not, good or not, for better or worse, I view everything through the lens of how does this relate to its Ruby equivalent. And so as I see new things being declared and new objects and types and that's where my mind goes. And so I like just semantic questions of like, oh, why is it formatted this way, or why are we using a colon here? What does that indicate? Or why is this an object, or is this struct? Or well, it looks like structs are implicitly labeled as structs.
Yeah.
But so anyway, that's where a lot of my questions are coming from. But I guess it might be interesting. So if we scroll all the way to the top, the way when I and this is you're getting a peek into the way my weird mind works, but um I just look like up at the top where we usually have imports, and it looks like this is an import of some sort on line 1 and
Yeah.
use std time duration. Okay, self-explanatory. And then in that line 3, use Overwatch. Okay, and can we look at line 3, and it goes colon colon curly bracket. So what are we when it says use Overwatch? What are we declaring there, or what are we importing? Or I guess it's use, so it's kind of an import. Extract crate Overwatch.
Yeah. So
It means nothing to me.
so in Rust, a library it's called a crate, right?
Okay.
And the we have cargo, so it's all you notice a theme here. Okay, so we have crates, we have cargo,
Mm.
and we use things, right? So Overwatch in this case it's an external crate, so you have to declare that you're going to use some part of it. So in this case we declare that we use Overwatch, and what do we use inside of the crate? We use
Those
this.
specific features of
What?
it. Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And inside of the Overwatch, there's also a kind services, and in services we use those two.
Okay, next nitpick. Between line 6 and 7. So I see between line 1 and 3 there is space, but then no space, and we use Tokyo time sleep. Is that I know everything in Rust is supposed to be formatted very specifically, or maybe this is
Yes.
not the case.
So
Or is this the case?
the semicolon.
There's the semicolon, and then line 7 begins with there's no break between 6 and 7, but there is between 1 and 3, and then again between 7 and 9. So is that a formatting thing specifically, or just he just
So
forgot to press
I just added a space and then I saved, and there's no
got it?
formatting. So
And what's the
yeah.
name for what you just did in Rust? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so that's just cool. Well, that anyway, continuing a tour through my mind. Okay, and then use crate and all of the okay, so this is use other crates that okay, so what are we looking at on line 9? Use crate
So
and
before that, on
runtime.
7,
Oh yeah.
Tokyo.
Mhm.
Tokyo is very well known. It's basically, well, it kind of says Tokyo is an event-driven, non-blocking I/O platform for writing asynchronous application with the Rust programming language, right? So basically, every time you do a sync, you use Tokyo, or yeah, mostly Tokyo. There's other stuff, but yeah, you use Tokyo. So there's that. Um, so now you're saying on line 9. So yes, use crate.
Use crate and then runtime service, and this is all like is this like standard? Oh, crate. Okay. And this is all stuff that's declared. I'm guessing where
It's
service
declared.
came, so somewhere else, not in this file. That's fine.
I mean, messages. They're or ping state. Ping state is here.
Aha.
So
There
it's
it
the
is.
same. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's all local stuff.
No, it's interesting. I actually am not. It seems easy enough to read. There isn't. It's similar enough to Ruby, in that it's easy to read and digest. Now, specifically with Rust, what's interesting, there's a few things that stand out with Rust as sort of the overall Rust community and its pickup in popularity over the last 5 years in my awareness. Probably more than that.
Yeah, 7. I
Uh,
mean, popular, no, but it's been around for a while.
enthusiasm.
I started programming in 6 years ago in Rust. Yeah.
Oh I forgot what my question was now. Oh, there it was. Solana and it's
Yes.
all of its smart contract structures and Solana itself is all Rust based, if I understand correctly. And my own personal journey, TM, and I'm still basically a noob programmer at best, is coming from learning JavaScript and React and then looking at Solidity. It's similar enough to JavaScript that it's easy more or less to pick up right away. But there's a lot, like for example, the difference between Solidity and Viper, which I much prefer Viper in terms of the way that it's structured and well, more or less it's similarity to Ruby because Viper is more or less a Python, tries to emulate the structure of
But do you mean
Python.
the semantic, or really
Yeah,
like the language design? Because the semantic is one thing, but
semantic, or I maybe the language design too, but I'm not I'm not qualified to comment on it at all. But I was saying it's like Python looks like, or rather Viper looks like Python, whereas like Solidity looks more like JavaScript or not even TypeScript. Like so
yeah, semantic
in
wise, I
the
guess it's the bracket and the semicolon. That's the main thing that you might not see in other languages.
But all of that, this was a long-winded way to get to that in what I have observed in the feedback that developers who were working in Ethereum and working with Solidity, when they had gotten to Rust, and for either because they're working with Solana or whatever, comment specifically that they enjoy the experience more, that it's more logical, that they just enjoy. Now, like, this is not commenting on the tenets of Solana or anything else, but the developer experience that I
Yes,
have seen feedback on in people enjoying using Rust and the tools that are available with Rust
very
and
much.
the
Yes.
ecosystem and community is what seems like a pleasurable experience for people on that journey.
So let me comment on that. Um, so before Rust, my experience was with C sharp. C sharp has very good documentation. For example, it's all Microsoft created. There's a you can search for whatever you want, and you can find pretty much any answer to your question. It's all there. But with Rust, it's also all there, but also all the crate, which is the libraries in the Rust version of our library. It's also very easy to create documentation and actually um, use it. But that's not the case for C sharp, right? So if you just try to find the obscure library, or I guess in C sharp it's a, I think it's called a package or something like that, you will not get really good documentation. But in Rust, it's so easy that most libraries are gonna have good documentation.
Why is it so easy in Rust?
Um, that's a good question. Why is it easy? You can, I guess, annotate. Is it that meaning that? So, for example, if I want to annotate ping service, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just, I'm so technically I could do, if I remember correctly, that would be something like this, and then you, right?
Uh-huh.
It's either this or,
So you write the docs right in the code.
yeah, right there. You just say what the ping service does. And in the case of a function, it's the same, but you can also reference all the parameters
Okay, how
right
is that
there.
different from just commenting in the code? Does that specific annotation get put somewhere.
Yes, exactly. So it auto creates a HTML site with those comments, and every time you reference a parameter name or another struct, it creates a link automatically. So the you only have to, you write your annotation, you
Mhm.
reference the type or the parameter, and then you run, what's the command? Cargo docs, I think, or it's just doc, right? And then it builds everything.
That's really cool.
So there you go, 8 seconds, and all your docs are created, whatever. And
What's the
you
there's like a Java equivalent for this, right? Like JDoc
probably,
or something.
probably. Um, so that's one of the example. So documentation is top notch uh, for not only the standard library but for most libraries. So it's super easy to understand how to use the libraries, um, and that's very important for developer experience because, like you, if you're new, how would you know? You don't. That's why you need documentation, right? Because just reading the code might not be enough. If you have actual English to read to tell you how it works, then it's way better. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I will be reporting along as we go along in future Rust clubs. This is, of course, Logos Dev Club Rust Club #1. But as I go through my own personal journey, it's going to be interesting to note how it's different mm, between when I was just scratching freecodecamp.org like around 2016, how things are different in terms of how much of a crutch LLMs will be, and how much like because like right actually being able to sit down and write meaningful code without referencing anything is like that was my moment of like, oh, okay, I can actually think in this language, write in this language, come up with things with, or I can just sit down and write a function or write a simple script or whatever. um and then even had like preferred ways of the ways I'd like to do it. I'm like, oh, I'm actually but anyway, so but now like how, unless you force yourself to do it now, it seems like because you can just have Claude just write the thing, it looks good, code review it. So
Yes and no, I guess.
well, I guess I'll find out, but it's like I would like to learn another language. Not that I learned it to any real depth, I don't think. Anyway, but I would like to learn another language to a similar depth that I learned others in, and so that's what I'll be tracking. Uh,
I mean,
besides, yeah,
personally, I feel like many people would maybe disagree, but I would say that Rust is it feels like a high level language, but it's also a low level language, which is something that's pretty unique. I don't know of any other language that can achieve like an experience like that. Yeah.
it's very interesting. That's a very interesting note. If you have any questions while we are alive, folks, use the chat, please. Rust related, love or hate, please sound off in the chat. And more importantly, subscribe and notifications on. We are coming to you every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Today, Logos Dev Club, Rust Club #1. Tomorrow, XSpace Live with Sterling. We are going over Rust at a high level. I am peppering SP with noob level questions about the Rust language and bloviating about my own perspective on things. But who needs that? Let me tell you what you do need. Next week, Logos Dev Club, Rust Club #2 is where we will go deep into the Overwatch library, which we have some of that code in front of us right now. we will uh, go into lower levels and into greater depth and breadth. But thank you for being here, Logos Dev Club, Rust Club number one. SP, what have we not covered that we should cover here for the people? Rather, anything that you particularly are fond of in Rust you'd like to feature at this time?
Yeah, there's another couple of points that I think are good about Rust. I guess the package manager is the best I've came across yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
And that is
cargo,
freight. Oh, cargo. Right. Right. Mhm.
cargo, yes. So the way, so basically, on the right side of the screen, this is your cargo.toml, like this. You have a, well, you describe the what you're building basically. You have a dependency. So you basically declare that you are going to depend on some crate and some version of it. At the simplest, I'm simplifying everything, but
Mhm.
and we have tools to, so you can click the docs for that crate. You can check the version, and it's automatically downloaded, ready to use. You only have to um, use it, right?
Mhm.
And in most cases, it just work,
Is this like the
which is
package.json equivalent in Node? Kind of.
I've not used that, so I've not used that, but I've used the C sharp packages and also
You've never used Node ever?
no.
That's incredible.
Yes, I'm pretty proud of
I'm
myself.
impressed. Yeah.
I've used JavaScript a little bit, but mostly to interface with was a module that were written in Rust. So yeah, whatever. That's another point that's pretty cool about Rust is that it's really easy to build WASM modules. I mean, WebAssembly modules, um, which then you can use in the browser or anywhere where WASM is used, right? Um, you can also, what else can you do with Rust?
Is that
You
safer
can
or
do
better for any reason? Like, why would is that
um,
preferable for any
I think there's some
reason?
performance reason why you would do some heavy computation inside of a WebAssembly module. But I guess the problem is the interface between WASM and the JavaScript runtime. But that was like years ago, so maybe it changed now. I'm not up to date on that front. But when I was building my web app in Rust, that was one of the things I found out is that you don't want to mix too much JavaScript and Rust. So
Hmm.
everything run in Rust or everything in JavaScript. So back then that was pretty much how you would do things. Now I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's been some time. So, but yeah, so you can there's crates that helps you build web apps. So Rust, it's you can use for the web, which is pretty cool. You can
Mhm.
use it for the backend because that's a language for that, a system programming language, I guess. You can use it for maybe a microcontroller, right?
Hmm.
There's crates for that. Um, so if you think about languages where you can one day do web development and the other day hardware stuff with the same language, I don't think there's many that can actually do that. Maybe C, but Is it going to be as easy as Rust? Probably not. Probably not.
That's a strong endorsement.
Yeah.
Folks, this is Logos Dev Club, Rust Club number 1. I am joined by SP, Logos Core contributor, programmer, engineer extraordinaire. Logos Dev Club is every Monday. If you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe, turn notifications on. We're live Monday through Friday, every day. Anything you would like to get to in closing, SP, as we wind down
Let
this
me
shorter Dev Club this week?
let me ask you a question then.
Please.
In your Rust journey, what do you think of the borrow checker? Because from what I heard, most people who learn Rust struggle with that part specifically. What is your experience with that?
Not enough to comment on it at this time.
All right.
Not enough to comment
Fair
on it
enough.
meaningfully at this time. But
Okay.
I'll look out for that specifically, and I'll follow up on it the next time you join specifically. Actually, that's a perfect anchor point for me too. As you wade into a new thing, like what should I be focusing on? But that's perfect. No, I'm still very much like in terms of resources, and I'll throw them, or they should be in the description of the video,
Rust
but
book?
the book,
Yes.
and there's a couple of others
Yes.
that
They're all pretty
SP
good. Yes.
So that's Rust by example, and then there's something else as well. But
Wrestling.
I definitely have Rust. Okay, so like here's where I'm at. Like I definitely installed it locally, right? But I'm not 100% on like off the top of my head. I don't remember how to check my version. So let me do it in silence for a second to see how stupid I am. That's not it. Hold on. Don't tell me. Hold on. Give me one more try. Hold on. Control R. How do you like that? It's Rust C. I knew it. I knew it was something. I knew there was it's Rust C dash version, of which I have 1.91. What else have I done in Rust that I can check I can check the version. I installed it locally somehow. After minutes, I was able to remember how to check the version. Hopefully, I can write one line of some sort of import, or what do they call? What do we call it? It's not import. It's
The
add.
use. The
Use.
use word. Yes. So
And,
use. Then you
print
declare.
the time somewhere locally.
Yeah, printing stuff is good. You have a macro for that, so it's kind of simple. Yeah.
Print the time based on. Yeah. Yeah. So something to look forward to me, or for me rather, is my own journey through Rust Club, and who knows where I'll be by the time we get to Logos Dev Club, Rust Club number 10. Even. And I can tell everyone loved me searching for how to check the version of Rust by the Stark drop off in viewers. For those of you still with us, thank you. And by Stark, I mean 3. Don't be too worried. So yeah, I don't have a meaningful answer for you on that borrow checker specifically. I will get back to you. I hope that you can join us again soon as we go through the wonderful world of the Logos core technology stack and features. I will mention one more time before we wind down, folks. Parallel Society is not on my screen. There it is. Oh, wow. Parallel Society Lisbon, March 6th and 7th. Register, get your tickets now. ps.logos.co. hub.status.network. Pre-deposit vaults are open. 3.73, coming up on 4 million in liquidity, has been pre-deposited for karma to be earned. Karma is what you spend instead of gas on the Status network. Status app, desktop, mobile, get it today. Use it. Add me. I'll be your friend. We'll see you tomorrow on X for the Logo Circle Online space. Wednesday, we'll do the weekly update show. Thursday, the Community X space. Friday, IFT Town Hall. This has been Logos Dev Club Rust Club number 1. SP, thank you once again. Thank you all for watching. And we'll see you all again very soon.